Chapter 48. Sasha floated blissfully in the absolute darkness of the sensory deprivation tank, her last refuge from the chaotic, demanding world outside. She had been journeying so hard lately that the distinction between her past, present, and future selves had become as thin as fishing line, a line that was suddenly being tugged on. From somewhere, an energetic nudge told her to "Come back, Sasha." Reluctantly, she arose out of the slick, briny water, activating the pinhead-sized fiber-optic lights on the tank's interior. Without the buoyancy of the Epsom salt solution, Sasha felt like a sumo wrestler with each step. "Gravity always wins," she said to the empty room with a chuckle, trying not to mentally elaborate. In the back of her mind, she knew that the sneaky banana peel of Quanta was always out there, somewhere, just waiting for the next precog sucker to get cocky. Wrapped in an organic bamboo robe made by one of her many companies, she left the float room's humid alcove and went around the light trap. It was just a long snail curve, but the surface had been painted with carbon nanotubes, the blackest paint on Earth. Less than 1% of visible light made it around that bend. Darker than space itself, she thought proudly. The walls straightened out and livened up as she entered her meditation room. This was her shop floor, filled with candles, cushions, oils, and incense. And the singular, handcrafted, one-off creation produced there was her. Adjusting to the mellow light, Sasha gathered her 10 adorned jewelry from a carved bowl, slipping on the beaded bracelet and necklace. Besides the black beads, the chain also held a pendant, which contained an RF smart tracker. Leaving the soothing room and moving towards her mystery guest, the hallway narrowed. One of Sasha's many security measures was a series of decorative, yet ballistic doors hanging on each side of the hallway. Like a set of inverted fish gills, they closed or opened at her approach, repelled by the RF device. She could also selectively lock each pair of doors, restricting the hallway to less than the width of a human head. Like an ancient arrow slit, the adjustable choke points allowed her to shoot out at any angle, yet shielding her from small arms fire or physical assaults. There had been breaches before, and assassination attempts by religious fanatics and backstabbers, so she took zero chances these days. They retracted flush with the walls as she reached the doors, the house obeying her preset preferences. She continued towards the ever-brighter end of the dimly lit hallway, squinting a bit as she went. With the uptick of light, the 10 changed in her gut again, sharpening her vision and hearing. No threats yet, always good for the old BP. As she entered the lounge area, Sasha found an exhausted-looking Emily catnapping on the wall-length couch. "Em, holy shit, lady," she squealed, jarring Emily awake and into an instant state of spiteful happiness. "Finally. I was about to send Roof in after you. Where is that old hound dog anyway?" Emily asked, referring to Rufus, Sasha's beagle. "I told him long ago to never interrupt a float session, unless the house is on fire," Sasha said, smiling at her old friend as she plopped down next to her. Emily gave her a sideways look, always skeptical of anything Sasha said. Still a little groggy, she glanced around the wide-open space, the light filtering through the large interior windows. Nothing was opulent for opulence' sake, but Sasha had spared no expense in the name of soothing textures, beautiful materials, over-engineering, and inspiring design. The aesthetics and layers of meaning in even the smallest detail were incredible, and always made Emily gawk with awe. "Man, this place impresses me every time, I tell ya," she said, smiling. "Gracias, mi amiga. I do aim to please," Sasha smiled back. She had delved into so many areas of fringe research that it was a wonder she had any money left at all, but somehow they kept paying out, as evident by the sprawling estate and everyone on it wanting for nothing. Ironically, Sasha still kept a go-bag of seeds, spores, and thumb drives stashed in almost every room. Go figure. Suddenly jarred from her musings, Emily's face shifted uncomfortably as she looked past her cup of juice to the greenhouse portion of the atrium. Employees, friends, and freaks worked silently on the other side of the glass, harvesting legal and not-so-legal ingredients for the 10. Emily forced a smile and waved to them. She so very much envied their carefree laughter and flirtations. "Have you seen the latest news?" Emily said absentmindedly. She took another pull of juice, the bitter ugh aftertaste of the kava numbing her tongue and fretting mind. "Yeah, I saw it and felt it. Coraline's shooting out new bots as fast as she can pull the damn trigger. But my flying monkeys tell me they got an 80% failure rate over there at her factory of scary tomorrows. So, boo-hoo to her sorry ass and boo-yah to us," Sasha said, clinking her glass to Emily's. Emily just smiled concurrently and reached for the snacks. She popped a couple of blueberries in her mouth, trying to erase the lingering kava. And, adding insult to surgical injury, if they don't pass her little gauntlet, all they get to take home is scars, a crappy job, and a t-shirt with an arrow that says, "I'm with Roomba." "Or death, hello," Emily belted out, suddenly very serious. Sasha shrugged, indicating one of the areas she could do little about. "Sasha," Emily started, her heart and mind already suffering from the cascade of depression-inducing neurochemicals she was stirring up. "I can't see like you. I'm a friggin' psychic failure, or whatever we're supposed to be doing here. I mean, yeah, in deep meditation, I access stuff, and whenever we mind seal, but in the moments I need it the most, to get that reassurance from the universe that it's all just gonna be okay, you know, when I get..." Sasha could already see where this was heading. She had never tried to convince someone to take a dose. They had all come to her willingly. Correction, all except for the woman right next to her. In hindsight, Sasha knew the unreachable, shadowy depths that she had cast Emily into with her intentional manipulations. And the fact that the current Sasha would never do something as non-consensual, dangerous, and unethical now didn't change dick. It was her only big regret, and it would haunt and torture her for life. All the rest, the lying, deception, illegal dealings, just to get to the now. Honestly, Sasha saw it as the cost of doing business in the probability field. Breakage and dark bargains. It wasn't all sage smudging and tambourine sing-alongs over at Revolution Ranch. Like any other alchemical process, messing with cosmic outcomes produced waste products, toxic shit, unintended consequences and collateral damage. And sometimes, as in Emily's case, a magnification of innate suicidal tendencies and ideations. As soon as Emily began to speak, her emotions and thoughts radiated from her troubled soul. Sasha could feel them affecting her own body as she encountered them, identifying them as rough thought forms. Failure. Pointless, alone, inconsequential, exhausted, resigned. How? Listen, Emily, Sasha started in a concerned, motherly tone. This was literal, out-of-runway crunch time. In these moments, suffering humans don't need anything beyond Newtonian creature comforts and lots of love and support. Well, also soup and tea. Soup and tea fix almost anything. And so, from Sasha's magical, mental vantage point, the intersection of a rolling AUM and a horned Taurus, she had to simultaneously perceive, attend to, and ignore all the layers of what was. As she pushed behind her eyes, beneath her crown, and within the blue flame, she merely did her best. "I need you to know that I hear you, and that I'm here for you. And I will never, ever abandon you, all right? You give me the word, and I will, metaphorically, burn all this shit to the ground. Then you and I will simply step away from it all, move to a beautiful white sand beach somewhere, and just live. You and me, kid, okay? Do you get what I'm telling you right now, Em?" Emily didn't respond, except to cry silently. She didn't have any sobs left. Sasha realized that this might be the last time she might see Emily alive if she didn't act quickly. So Sasha reached out energetically. She invoked the blue flame, expanding it to envelop Emily and bolster her flagging life force. The space between Emily's neurons and synapses, now shining like miniature stars, was fueled by the cobalt fire's light. Holding everything in her mind's eye, Sasha tried to manually implant suggestions into Emily's mind, hopefully preventing self-harm or worse. Emily, look at me. I need you to say it for me. Say it. Emily. Sasha directed in a manner that was strangely hypnotic and infused with commanding, gravelly overtones. What's up with her voice? Or is my hearing just jacked up from the 10? Emily thought through her anguish. It feels like she is... Is she trying to lock me into a temporal contract or something? Just as Sasha was trying to lock Emily into a temporal contract or something, Emily redeployed her spiritual shielding with the force of a magical airbag. Then, with some mysterious snap of the fingers, Sasha was good old Sasha again, just sitting there with Emily in Newtonia. And Emily had stopped crying before she started. She felt amazing, remade, refreshed, like she had just been sent through an egoic car wash, hand-dried by the Buddha himself, and then turned 45 degrees in her chair. In other words, she just experienced a skip, not only in time and space, but also in probability. Somehow, she had exceeded her native ability to influence outcomes, rolling dice that were, unbeknownst to her, quantumly loaded. What the ever-loving hell just happened? Emily thought frantically, putting her hands flat on the couch for makeshift reality testing. Did I just jump backwards in time? Split the universe? Does Sasha even know? Oh crap, I feel the loops coming on. Quick, ground yourself, Emily. Just agree before she asks again, and you forget. Lock it in. Just say it. Yes, she answered Sasha, the word uttered only in her confused, thankful mind. But the great mystery had been listening in, and with its spiritual notarization, the decision was made. Emily had just successfully and consciously propagated an entire alternate universe, and remembered to tell the tale. Now, for Emily, Sasha had just walked down the hall, greeted her, and plopped down on the couch again. Only Emily retained both pasts, coexisting as interdependent dualities. But at this moment, it was just a matter of settling in and keeping on, experiencing time in its usual, inescapable, and excruciatingly slow pace. Thank you. I mean it, Sasha. You're the only one I can give it all to and not end up paranoid. You might lock me up in a nut house or something, Emily said, trying to keep her calm and act as normal as possible in such uncharted territory. Thanks? Sasha said, swatting her leg. Strange. It seemed Em had more to tell me, Sasha thought, feeling perplexed and off. Ah well, like I've said a million times, this multiverse is such a pain in my ass. So you were saying about Coraline? Emily asked, starting back into the conversation, where she thought Sasha might have gone out, or whatever. Oh, got it. I remember now. Em, don't get old. That shit's no joke, Sasha said, making them both laugh. You're not old. You're magnificent, Emily thought, smiling at her bestie. Okay, so yeah. Every time she adds a server farm or connects another bot mine to core, the probability field gets kicked in the nuts. The gravity of what she can do in the future is rippling back through deep time. And she doesn't even know, unless Core has gained some superpower I haven't heard about. Core wouldn't even know what to look for. Hell, we may not even know the full extent of the alterations. Her damn AI could quantum erase some critical future history, maybe even ours. Emily was listening, yes, but simultaneously she was juggling her own conscious, recent restructuring of history, and running scenarios of how Coraline might achieve the same with tech. As she felt the philosophical drift that came with a 10, if not diligent, she forced her attention back to her friend. Sometimes I fight to see it too, you know, and I spend hours a day in that freaking fish tank of mine, going as hard as the 10 will allow, Sasha said. Emily could see the frustration on her face, the increasing tension inside Sasha that would drive her until the last puzzle piece slipped into place. "Yeah, I thought of checking you for gills," Emily quipped, eliciting a raspberry from Sasha. "I mean, there is a reason that monks swaddle their junk, climb up mountains, and build really, really hard to get to temples," Sasha said. Looking weary herself, she put a consoling hand on Emily's shoulder. "So, don't feel bad, kid. Remember, this is not about being perfectly accurate or completely sane. This whole thing," Sasha said, throwing her arms up, "is just the beginning. And you, yes, you," she exclaimed, pointing at Emily, "are powerful. I have seen it and felt it. Don't forget the tree. Those butterflies, remember? And you were the one, Em. Not me. You found the black seed." "Well, Emily demurred, people-pleasing mode fully engaged, handle snapped off. "No, screw that. You need to own it, Em, please. Just finally own it," Sasha said flatly. "Okay," Emily said. The most uncomfortable she had been in her entire life, and that was saying a lot. She took a deep breath and a hard swallow, then spoke. "I found the black seed," Emily declared, "and did not die." "That's my girl," Sasha said, clapping. "This is the kind of abuse I get for leaving you alone too long in this crazy-ass commune," Emily said, trying to take the focus off herself. "Meanwhile, you think you can mind seal your thoughts to your mutt, and we can somehow overcome Coraline's AI Palooza," Emily said, crossing her arms like a petulant child. Sasha smiled and motioned for Emily to pick up one of the many screens on the table. "The data bears it out, my little skeptic." "Well, that first thing anyways," Sasha declared as she brought up the charts and specs of what she had dubbed her Familiar Friends program. The initial results were not shocking, but they did show an effect well above chance. Sasha and her little band of desert lab rats could mentally communicate with animals, sending and receiving information, albeit very rudimentary concepts or images, and that was without any sort of nanites or hardware. Of course, it was dose-dependent, and there was definitely a sweet spot in the bell curve Emily was squinting at, but still, the potential of the 10 seemed endless. If only Sasha and Coraline hadn't become adversaries. "When was the last breach? Digital, I mean," Emily asked, putting down the tablet and throwing an arm over the seat back. She had used a lot of tech in her botanical research, but the 100 or so times Emily had driven to the ranch from Colorado to hang out with Sasha, it was always a more flora-centric event. "Well, I've never had one here, of course. I initially ran cables through this place, but it's never been safe enough to fire up the internet, what with both the feds and Coraline scanning for slip-ups." "Yeah, I always thought your Wi-Fi seemed a little slow," Emily smirked. "Ha ha, hilarious," Sasha said, smiling. "But I do have workarounds, you know. You use your laptop, but everyone else just loads their searches and questions onto drives, and one of the kids runs them over to a hardwired location. Then they just relaunch the queries, do some extra poking around, store the results, and bring back all the results and captured pages. Works like a charm. We have one leaving every hour, like a goddamn digital Pony Express," Sasha said, looking very pleased with her low-tech solution from prying eyes. "Okay, but didn't you say some cell locations had been compromised before? The crew wiped everything with that EMP thingy, then hauled ass out of there," Emily continued, switching to the salty bowl of mixed nuts. "Ugh, well, the last time was the last. I implemented a new shielding protocol using rolling quantum telecom systems. One hacking attempt breaks the feed. Even Coraline can't fool Quanta," Sasha said with a sweet swell of rebellious pride. "Not yet," Emily said between crunches, fully aware of Coraline's exponential evolution. "Not yet," Sasha admitted with a heavy sigh. "Lately, I feel like that moment in the jungle, at the helicopter," Emily started. "I know," Sasha replied, feeling the same temporal foreboding she sensed in her friend. It's closer. The ramifications, blowback, karmic wedgies, whatever it's going to look like. But I don't know how far out. You know how these things go. It's like herding a clutter of Irwin's cats, Sasha said, taking her frustration out on the snack tray. And, our numbers? How are we dirts looking? Sasha asked. Emily thought about all the test subjects who had taken part in Sasha's official and not-so-official studies. All the intentional seekers streaming through their green guidance entheogen retreats in other countries. Well, they weren't all seekers. Down with the cause. But the income from tourists just chasing the next trendy high did help to fund the war chest. You could look yourself, you know, instead of mind melding with canines, Emily offered with a laugh. Sasha let out a chortle and rolled her eyes. She was almost superstitious in her fear of the observer effect. She preferred to get stats as far removed from her own cognitive biases as possible. Anyway, about that, Emily continued. The funny thing is, we seem to be stuck at the same 20% success rate as Coraline, if you want to call that success, Emily said, sipping more juice through her silicone straw. Damn skippy I do, Sasha said, sounding a little hurt. Look, you know how hard it is to find people that can really get out there deep, and do it consistently, and not flake out on you, and, most importantly, handle their shit once they land back in Newtonia, Sasha said, the vein on her neck a little too bulgy for Emily's comfort. I'm gonna go with extremely friggin' hard for 1,000, Alex. Exactly, Sasha said, looking like a cat caught in the rain. Extremely hard. Yeah, but, Emily continued, segueing to pretzels and mini pickles. Don't you think it's super weird, and yes, I know where I am, but don't you think it's super duper weird that neither she nor you can crack that ratio? Emily asked between bites. I mean, you two are running the most diametrically opposed science experiment in history. She's screwing day-glow slinkies into people's skulls. Meanwhile, you're getting them hopped up on the finest schmickety-schmack mash-up of Alexander Shulgin and Mother Nature. And yet, Emily trailed off. Yes, the and yet, Sasha echoed, starting to zone out. Emily could see her receding back to her mental hamster wheel, which meant more time in her stupid fish tank instead of hanging and keeping her company. You're right, that is super duper weird, Sasha said, turning away to stare longingly at her dressed-up coal chute, as Emily had called her dark, fortified hallway. Oh no, not again, not today, Emily shouted, popping off the couch despite her tired body. Today, we are going out drinking, baby. You've had enough wishing well, floaty float time for today. You and I, we both need a fucking break already, Emily sang, yanking Sasha to her feet and dancing her around like a wheeled mannequin. Alcohol, yawn, Sasha said, pretending to fall asleep in her arms. Fine, I drink, you take a couple 10, and the car drives us back. Easy peasy lemon teeny squeezy, Emily said, laughing but still pressing for an acquiesce. And when's the last time you got laid, lady? And I don't mean in the astral plane, Emily said, giggling. Hey, my astral plane is off limits. Sounds painful, Sasha countered. Haha, yeah. But again, no. No more of this pruny, waterlogged, wise crone routine. Got me? Unless, hey, do you have a merman in there or something? Emily taunted. Okay, geez, you win. Let me kiss Ruth goodnight and grab my purse, Sasha said, heading down the hall while Emily solo danced towards the foyer. Minutes later, they were speeding towards the club Sasha had bought to launder money. In the comfortable silence, they both wondered how long they had till their shared, hazy vision of being on that rooftop coalesced, and what it would be like standing there, in the present, laughing about the whole crazy journey. But, Emily thought, staring at the city through the SUV's bulletproof windows, the lights glowing a sickly twinkle of warm industrial hues. As Sasha keeps telling me, that sneaky banana peel of Quanta is always out there, somewhere, just waiting.